Frieren Beyond Journey's End is a complete breath of fresh air. In a world where everyone focuses on a story's peak, on a story's hype, Frieren focuses on the most important story, the story of life. And it's a short one. This anime is one that forces you to take things into perspective, in a way that is not unique to it, but of all the stories I've ever watched or read, this one is by far the most effective at doing so. We've seen the story before about how an individual will outlive all the people they know and how that affects them, but not quite like this. We see how the events our main character goes through changes them for the better, how the world they live in changes, sometimes for the better, how events that, yes, sometimes take place in a vacuum, could, if repeated over and over again, change the world on a grand scale for the better. This is an anime that is almost perfect at every little thing it does, and I quickly learned when doing my typical 1-minute review of it that 1 minute is not nearly enough time for me to talk about this anime. When you start this anime, you immediately begin to understand that this is not going to be quite like any other one you've ever watched. It's a story that is going to make you emotional on a deeply human level. It's a story that hits you right into humanity. But the beautiful thing about the story, it is not just one that's going to make you emotional. It is also extremely proficient in generating shonen level hype around its fight scenes. It is just something you don't expect from an anime quite like this. And time and time and time again, little things like this just blow your expectations out of the water when it comes to this anime. To me, this anime feels like the living, breathing embodiment of life itself, about how no matter how much some things change, some things will always remain the same, about how no matter how long you live, it's always the little things that have the biggest impact, about how yes, life is about the bigger picture, but when you take a moment and step back from that bigger picture, you find yourself looking at thousands of little pictures. It is those moments, it is those little pictures that encompass what life is all about how every person enters and exits your life for a reason, about how the trials and tribulations of yesterday could lead to your success today, about how every weakness isn't necessarily a flaw. Every character that you come across in this story just accentuates the lesson it's trying to teach you. It constantly reminds you that your time is short, your time is precious. Spend it with people you want to spend it with, doing things you want to do. It's just really ironic that it took a main character who isn't human to tell one of the most human stories I've ever heard.